on, guys? Welcome back to another video today. Today I just want to go step by step how to do Amazon FBA. Every single step I go from what is it to finding a product to the steps to launching it, etc. I think this is helpful for the beginners, the people who are just getting into it, as well as even advanced people on steps they might be missing. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So Amazon FBA essentially is a way to put a product on Amazon to be in front of a strong audience of people. Essentially, half of Amazon listings that you see today are actually from a person just like you putting a listing on Amazon, launching a product, and getting revenue, right? A lot of people don't teach this the right way, so I'm going to give you a step by step of how I teach this in the most high level way. I've been a seller for about 5 years now, so I'm here to really just teach you guys the most efficient way to do this. But I thought I would show you guys metrics on how people do this. So essentially, what's crazy is 7% of sellers are above that are between the 10K to 25K a month in revenue. We were just talking about how third-party sellers and who those people are. But what's crazy is a lot of people make a lot of money off of this. 5% of the third-party sellers are making 25 to 50K in revenue, 4% 50 to 100K, and then when you get to the top 1%, it's about 100 to 250, and then 2 to 51 to 500. So if you added actually all of these up, you would look at probably about 17 to 20% are making above 20 or 10K in revenue, which is really good. I mean, if you have a 35%, 40% margin, you're doing well. But the problem is a lot of people don't do Amazon FBA the right way, and their margins are very, very little. So what I want to go into in this video is making sure that you have great margins, teaching you kind of the way to make sure you're never going to get price warred and the right market to find. So without further ado, I'm going to teach you guys Helium 10. It is the extension I use to find a reputable market to go into, but there is way more to it than just using Helium 10. You obviously need to find a great enthusiast market. So Helium 10, a lot of people, when they teach Amazon FBA, and this is probably the most important thing you will learn in this video, everybody says find low listings, low competition, high revenue, right? But from my 5 years of selling, what happens in those markets is sellers come in and they all find that same market and it gets saturated really fast and they all launch the same products or they launch a bundle. So what you actually want to do is you want to find an old market where nobody's going in. It's a customer who's willing to spend more, or is a hobby where you could add branding to make sure you could price more than everybody else, get just as much as revenue, if not more revenue from perceived value, and do really good. So the way to find these particular markets, right, is what you're going to do is you're going to go into black box on Helium 10. This is where you product research, but most importantly, you're going to go in the keywords tab. So keywords are essentially markets itself. And it's way of looking up markets on Amazon, but by data. So by like search volume, any piece of data possible. So what we'll do is I want a market that at least has decent search volume. So when I say 4,000 search volume, I mean the main keyword might have 4,000 search volume, but there's always long tail keywords right below it that are exactly related to it that maybe have one extra word in it describing it that have 1,000 or 2,000. So the whole market adds up to 10 to 15,000. So like I would say a good market size you want to look for is 10 to 30,000. Like a good size market, obviously, not too big, not too small. And then for revenue, I just want them to be making at least 17,000 in revenue or more. And essentially what this is doing, you're finding a seller that's currently selling in the type of market that you're doing, and you get to discover markets that are people are making this money and have that have this criteria as for the search volume. So for price, this is very important. I obviously don't want to sell a really high price product. I also don't want to sell a $10 product where I'm profiting $1 a unit or just breaking even. I want to sell between $20 and $40. This is like a range that's really important. So If I sell a 20-ish dollar product, $25 product, I get it for $2 or $3 and it's small and my fees are only $6 or $7, Amazon fees. Obviously, Amazon has fees. They usually take about a third, less than a third. Sometimes it's even 25%, depending on the size of your product, for storing and shipping your product to the customer. So essentially, you are shipping your product from your warehouse to the Amazon warehouse, and then whenever it gets bought, you create the listing, obviously, it goes straight to the customer. So you're the middleman. A lot of people know that, but so for the beginners, that's how it works. So, what I love is a product that I can get for a few dollars, have fees maybe be $7 or $8, maybe $6, and I still have a 50% margin, right? So, like a few bucks plus seven, 10. And then if I'm selling it for $24, I'm getting a $15 profit, or maybe even $13. But my margins are 50%, and since it's a lower price product, it could be an impulse and buy, um, and the conversion rate will be good. So not only our margins are good, conversion rate's good, and the customer is the biggest thing. So let's find that customer. So like I said, we're gonna go 20, and we're gonna go between 20 and 40, right? This is where people get completely confused. Is everybody, when you go on YouTube, they say, "Oh, I want to sell a product with low reviews." Completely forget that you even learned that. Reviews don't matter at all. I want an older market in general. I want a market where nobody's going into anymore, where there's opportunity to do a sick brand, have a cool character, have a great package, everything on that end. So minimum reviews, honestly, I want a minimum of 1,000 reviews on this end. But I obviously don't want something with 50,000 reviews taking all of the market revenue, obviously. But so we'll just put this at like 15,000 or 16,000. It really doesn't matter too much. But you could still win with somebody with 50,000 reviews. My mentor, who taught me this at the highest level in his specific market, he has people with like 10 to 20,000 reviews killing it, and he comes in with a 100 200 review product and just kills it because his branding is the best in the market by far. Sickest package, everything makes the customer stop. It's essentially a presentation, and he makes the customer stop every time, clicks, boom, converts. Great brand story. So let's get back into it though. But now this is also a very crucial part. So our categories, we want to find a market where the customer is willing to spend more, a hobby, or it's a problem that we're solving, right? So this is the part where we're really focusing on the customer and not just who the amount of revenue we're going to make, this or that, because that's where a lot of people get trapped. They just click every single one, they find a low review, high revenue market, you get it. So arts, crafts, and sewing, obviously kind of a hobbyish market. That could be a potential one. We can even go patio, lawn, and garden. People love gardening. That's a big market. They would love to spend more, right? We're also then gonna go into pet supplies. People care about their pets, obviously. Um, Industrial and scientific, and then we'll do automotive. People definitely care about their cars out there, so we'll do that. So last step is the competitor revenue. So I want in the market, I don't want one person taking up all the revenue. And I think I just talked about this a little bit earlier, but essentially, I want at least 7 people making above 10K in revenue. So there's a spread in revenue, and it's not just one person dominating, right? So you could put 7, 8, 10. I'll just start with 7. So I obviously want to spread in revenue. So there's more than one person making a good amount of revenue, and I can come in and there's not just one person taking all the revenue. So you get it. So as I'm scrolling down here, I want to find a market where the customer is willing to spend more, right? That it's a hobby, it's something they care about, where I can launch a brand, have the sickest packaging, and it matches the customer's enthusiasm. That's why I call it an enthusiast customer, right? So I obviously may not be able to find something right now because this video would go on for a while. Product research takes a while. But I'm going to do an example, and then I'm going to show you kind of the next steps I take after I find a good market, how I create my branding, and then the steps after that as well. So let's just say we did termite killer, right? Let's just say termite killer's our market, right? It kills termites. Obviously, there's already a big brand in it with Terminate, but let's just say we created our own brand, right? We wanted to create a whole new type of termite killer. The best packaging in the game. Obviously, Termite's doing a great job, but let's just pretend Termite didn't even exist, right? We go into a market with boring marketing, all these kind of lame brands, right? But we're going to create something that hasn't been seen because a lot of these brands were created in, either the early 2000s or 2010s, but there's been no 2020 type branding. And this is where I really try to emphasize to you guys how much opportunity there really is on Amazon. So watch this. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go into ChatGPT. And sounds crazy, but we're going to come up with really cool ideas to have the best packaging in the market. So here's what I'm going to type. So what I just typed was, can you create an edgy product packaging for a termite killer as well as a cool name that sticks out to the customer? So what this kind of does is it gives you really good ideas of what you can go with. And what's cool is you get really good ideas, like your name you can use, your packaging you could do. Because essentially every market you see or that people dominate on Amazon, a lot of them are just have incredible branding. If we look at let's example Liquid Death, right? I think I've shown you guys this, but let me just show you guys really quick what they did. So just quick off topic, this is Liquid Death. Essentially, they price double of what a lot of these sparkling and mountain waters do, and they sell just as much more. So essentially, what they do is they have the best packaging, the best branding, and a whole brand story behind it instead of just launching a typical product on Amazon. And they do literally double of what everybody else does. Why? Perceived value, matches the customer, gets them into it, has a great customer experience. So just quick, I wanted to go over that real quick. But essentially, going back to what we were saying, that's kind of just an example. We're going to create something that's just as good as Liquid Death, but in this particular market. So can you show me a visual? I don't even know what it said, to be honest. But let's just see what they come up with. I just want to get as many ideas as possible from ChatGPT, and then we'll go from there. So what's cool about ChatGPT is when you get an idea, you can expand on it by keep typing more and more things to it. It's essentially an AI to help you find really good ideas. So let's just say we want to do this one, Terminator. Obviously, Terminate is already a brand, but we come up with a really cool name. We have our character picture right here. Because the whole goal on Amazon, guys, this is the biggest thing you need to learn. When people search, all they need to do is scroll and stop and click on yours, and they're 90% there, honestly. You've done 90% of the work because there's about 50 different listings on page one. And the odds of them clicking on you are definitely low. But what makes them click and what makes them stop is the ability to have them have the time it takes to stop, see the perceived value, and click on it and know that this is exactly what they're looking for. That time it takes. So that comes with branding, everything. So listing title, everything. So let's say we wanted to do this type of packaging. We came up with an edgy packaging, really cool. So now what we do now is we go on Fiverr.com and essentially we get a package designer to create this exact type of branding, right? So what I would do is I would even get like a tattoo designer, somebody who's really artistic, because you don't want to do like a corporate look and have like a basic type of look. You want to have a really edgy, really different type of look. So what you do is you type like a tattoo designer, they'll send you the print of your character and the logo that they make. And then essentially when you go to your supplier, or your packaging designer or your packaging manufacturer, you send them your package dimensions, your character, your logo, everything that goes on the package. And from your design, you create it from Fiverr, you can give them that and they will print it on and you will have the best packaging in the book from that kind of idea. So obviously there's a lot of different packaging designers on Fiverr you could do. My advice to you, I've said this in a video, but essentially what you want to do is you want to find somebody that has the experience doing the type of packaging that you want. So I would look in their examples, and this person seems like a really type of one that I would want to do, because they definitely have done very more artistic ones, and that was kind of what I was saying to you, is like they're a tattoo designer or somebody who's really artistic, something that's not so corporate and more personal. And like what we did with the ChatGPT is create something that's very artistic, right? So we do this. We go into our we would probably click onto this, and then when we contact them saying, hey, this is my design for my brand that I am creating. So now, what is step two? Now that we've created our branding, we have the best branding in the market, we need to find a manufacturer. So there's two places you can find a great manufacturer. Preferably, you want to do it in the US, because why? The shipping time's only 2 weeks, and you can get right around the product cost of what you'll get in China, but you'll have practically zero shipping costs, because shipping costs is very, very little in the US when you go from state to state compared to overseas, shipping overseas, etc. So preferably, I would go on thomasnet.com. And what you do when you go on thomasnet.com is you're going to type in kind of the whole kind of broad category you're trying to search in. You don't necessarily type in the product name. And essentially, so for roach, let's see, what was it? For termite killer, right? So we'll do bug killer, right? And you could probably even type in termite killer, because this is definitely something that there's probably a good amount of suppliers for. But what you do is you literally call them or go on their website and click on the contact us and email them. But calling them is the fastest results, and say, hey, I'm really passionate about this. I really want to create a brand on this. Where can you lead me to find my manufacturer? And through multiple calls, you will find your answer on the exact manufacturer that you need. And essentially what you do is you click bug and insect killers, like I said, and then they will give you numbers on each one of these to help. Like, look at this, ants, roaches, yep. So what I would do now, since I have an idea right here, I'll do contact supplier, and they usually will give you their number after I click contact supplier or something like that. So yeah, see, view phone number. So that is supplier number one you can possibly use. And if you can't find that, you can go on alibaba.com. Kind of a cheaper way, not really cheaper way, but like less quality compared to USA products. So I prefer thomasnet.com. And then what comes after that? Well. So what comes after that is you want to create definitely an LLC. Now that you have your manufacturer, you're starting to create in bulk, you have your branding, you have your sick packaging about to be made, you want to make sure you're always protected. So getting an LLC is what I prefer. I sometimes don't even get it till after I start, but there's some markets where you might need an LLC to start, or you just want to have it in general because you know you want to get into it, you want to be protected off the start, but not something you need to do right off the bat, but something where it doesn't cost too much money. Sometimes it's $100-$200 to get an LLC. So there's a lot of different links you can use. This one, there's people that say you can get it $0 for an LLC. I don't believe that. But essentially your next step is you want to get an LLC, right? So now that you have an LLC, you want to actually get signed up with Amazon. So this is Amazon Seller Central. This is your home. This is your bread and butter, where you're going to be every single day checking your sales, seeing that you're making a lot. But essentially, you're going to click sign up, and you're going to fill up all this information. It's $40 a month. But essentially, put in your email, create a password, and it's going to ask all your information that you need about you to verify you as a person. But this is essentially your next step. You must create an Amazon Seller Central to be a third-party seller. Very important. Each step is in there. $40 a month. Create that, and then you are all set to have an Amazon Seller Central. So now that you have a Seller Central, it's time to create a product, right? So what I did was I clicked catalog, add product. Usually creating a product, you need to get a UPC as well. But essentially, you create a product by doing that. You go into add a product. You type in, essentially, find your product by using this. So I'll just do what was our, let's see, termite killer. Let's see, oops, termite killer. So look, it's already right there. So you add a product, like I said, by going to add products right here. And then you add your product in, you give all the details, you create your listing, and as soon as your listing is created, it takes about 1 to 2 days to fully create in. Obviously, you want to have your SEO right. You could do that on ChatGPT, by the way. You can just say, hey, can you create a great listing with great bullet points for this type of product that I have? It will give you a list of bullet points, and you could put it in each single bullet point, and you'll be good. The biggest thing, though, these are all very easy tasks to do, by the way. I don't want to go in and do every single step right now. This would take way too long. But these are incredibly easy steps to create a product, create a Seller Central, literally step-by-step guides in YouTube, everything. Those are the easiest steps to probably do. I want to just teach you the hardest things that everybody gets wrong. So essentially, now, the biggest thing that we must have is incredible photography. Typically what people do is they look on Fiverr. They go on Fiverr, hey, I'm looking for product photography, and they'll get average photography, right? What people don't understand is Amazon is a presentation game. When people scroll, they must stop, they must click. So this is literally everything is your photography. So I suggest literally investing as much money as you can into photography, because this is the 80-20 of what you want to perfect here. So I would say product photography on Google, and you're gonna see people that are literally professional photographers on this area. I'm gonna create a personal mentoring group as well as a whole kind of group itself on Patreon, where I'm gonna share my product photographer, all of my shippers, everything, to have you guys have the highest end type of product photographers, or anything you guys need for packaging design or anything, just save you guys time. So the link in bio will come out soon. So just subscribe, and I will be sharing that, my Patreon, soon. It's in the creation right now. But essentially, you go on Google, you can find very, very strong professional photographers that aren't just people putting themselves on Fiverr that don't have that much experience. So I suggest going on Google, finding a very high-end photographer. Like somebody, I literally spend $1,500 on photography. I know that's a lot, but the ROI is incredible, because one, your conversion rate on every sale is going to be better, right? You can run some photos for ads. You're literally getting so much more revenue a month because your photography is better than 99% of them, right? So it is so important, guys, photography. Like if you nail this part down with your branding, perceived values at the highest, you're an enthusiast customer, the customer's willing to spend more, you will absolutely kill it. That's simple. And what's cool is you can price like $10, $20 higher than everybody else, because if your perceived value's higher, you literally can get away with so much of a higher price, and it's not as much of a price war anymore. So that is kind of the basis of Amazon, right? I probably missed a step or two, sure, but this is the majority of what you need to know, start to finish. I'm a brand new YouTuber. I want to give the most transparent advice possible from my 5 years selling on Amazon. So if you like today's content, like and subscribe, and hope you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.